All right, Chelsea,
Hey, Brian.
what is going on as
So,
I take a sip of my beer?
what's going on is that I arrived 10 minutes early, so much so that if everyone notices in the screen position, I am first. So, I have technical proof as I am on the left side of the screen today.
I was wondering about that, how that happens, where you're on the left side. I didn't know if it's because you're an official co host as of today. I gave you the keys to our show to co host on. It's like we're even more official. Like I gave you the keys to something of the house or something, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know.
But,
I feel like I got a key. I got a drawer. This
and then
is
you,
my drawer.
and then for 5 minutes, we're trying to figure out why she doesn't
Don't
have
give me a
access to
drawer.
doing some other stuff. Like there's two things on here. She still can't post a comment on here, which is weird as a co host, and then
Hmm.
adding or making her own banners on there. But,
Not
anyways,
yet.
nothing
Anyways.
for anybody else to worry about because we have plans for tonight. Why don't you explain it to everybody what we're doing?
So tonight we are playing this or that, where we present any array of scenario where the other person has to choose this or that. And the goal was to come up with something that potentially the other person cannot answer. So I'm very
Or does
excited,
not want
Brian,
to answer.
or does not want to answer. How is your brainstorming?
I this the moment we got done with our production episode, I actually came up with about 4 or 5 of them. I jotted them down, and
Wow.
then as the week went on, I was like, "Ooh, there's a couple that I'm like, we'll see if we'll see if we get to them. If nobody shows up and nobody asks us questions, then we're gonna go through. I think both of ours pretty good.
Yep. So we each have 10. They're prioritized based on what we assume the challenge of the question is. And so for anyone else listening, you're welcome to also pose your own this or that, and we will do our best to get to any audience comments. So I have a little full disclosure in my brainstorm. I was not inspired right after.
Yes.
I couldn't think of any. So today,
5 minutes
Amanda
before the show.
no.
Oh,
Hours before the show. But she chatted me asking how good mine were. And I was like, oh man, I don't know. To be honest, I just am not feeling inspired. And so we actually discussed there's a wide array of categories for this game, which I don't know if it's a spoiler to discuss them now, but I sort of determined like, all right, there are sort of buckets you can play into. And I'm very curious to see if we're playing into the same buckets or not, because it'll be interesting.
well, and I get is the premise of the game is basically you're just picking between two options, right?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't
Just
want to
two
overthink
options.
what it was, and I've got a couple easy ones that I do want. I'm gonna throw at you first, and then we'll see how we both answer them,
Mm-hmm.
and then we kind of go on, and then we'll ask the audience if they have any that they want to pose to us. And I think the challenge was to, like you mentioned it, can you come up with something that makes us shift in our seats a little bit, start to sweat? Maybe we're like, I don't know if I want to divulge that information.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I do think for the most part, there's not going to be. I can't imagine any question coming in to where I don't want to answer, but we will
Can't
see.
answer. Can't answer. So this is what
Okay.
okay, I'll go into a little bit of the categories I think that I've assessed. Don't want to answer as in I'm embarrassed and I feel uncomfortable answering it alive. Or, and I struggled with that category because you are so confident in your openness. There's also the category of you can't answer. Like I am presenting things that are both so terrible, you don't want to pick between them. And then I found another category that I thought was interesting around obscurity, like just presenting something that's so weird. It's just like, that's not even what. And so I have an array of questions to try and see if any of them are unanswerable. Not necessarily that you won't, because you swear you won't be embarrassed.
Yeah, no, I feel pretty good. There's only, and I forgot to mention to you early on, and I was going to do that before we started, just to give you a heads up. There's probably just one area that I can't, and not because I'm embarrassed or anything. I can't answer. But I don't think that we would, if we get to that kind of question. I'll
We won't. I
I'll
discussed
explain.
it with Amanda. I know what it is, I think, and I didn't write it down.
But even
Are they
if
family questions? I had no
yeah,
questions about the
yeah,
family.
yeah,
I have
good.
no family questions.
But
I
they're
knew that'd be a
indirectly
gimme.
involved on maybe some questions too. Who
Nope.
knows?
No, I've no, well, not to my knowledge. But I purposely tried to pick questions that I thought would be very hard to answer without crossing any like obvious lines that aren't fun. So they're all fun. Some are super weird. And I'm
Good.
very excited about that. And just to see, I think these are like some deeper get to know you questions. And Julie, you're right. We are flipped. It is also freaking me out, and I can't figure out how to switch it. It's because, let the record state, I arrived early.
She arrived early and got into the studio here before I did. Although I
Hang on, I'm
was
gonna.
here earlier. Well, now she's
Oh,
flipped it
it's better.
around.
It's better.
See, now that she has co-host the keys to part of the house now, she's just flipping buttons and everything, which is kind of
Oh,
cool. She's kind of getting
yeah,
used to
playing.
the software.
Yeah,
It's a
don't put
neat
me in new
software.
software. I'll play around. And a quick aside while we just get everyone ready for what's about to occur. I am in a different space today, if that's not super apparent. And so I'm using the little light that we talked about that is super easy to clip onto your computer. And I've now seen a great purpose for this. So I'm in a space with horrid lighting, no options, and I'm using my little ring light. So for anyone who is curious about that $20 ring light option, I've already found a use. I work out of this room, I'd say about a third of the month. So here we are.
And we had talked about the flexibility of smaller items like this particular light that maybe isn't as nice or big as the other one, but it allows you to kind of go anywhere that you need to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably nice that if you can, maybe you have a couple options for lighting. And that goes back to 2 episodes ago where we were building the podcast live studio for people. So go back and listen to that one. That was fun to kind of set up Chelsea's stuff. So I guess we'll have to wait another week to see if
I
Chelsea
know.
bothers to actually do her studio.
What a challenge. What a challenge.
All right, I'm ready to play. So I'm going to let you. I want you to, because you're really good at paying attention to time and organizing stuff or whatever. So you tell me what you want to do. I'm ready to go. I've got my questions written up on banners here, so I can throw them up there because I was super early. Um, but you tell me. So where do you want to start?
I want to start, or you can start, but I would also say, audience, as a reminder, you are welcome to judge us with this. That is the whole point of the game. So think of, this is my favorite way to score. Whose line is it anyway? Throw points out there. If you think one of us has an exceptional answer to something, if you agree with us, if you disagree, if we're both answering the question, which we're not going to answer each other's questions because they're premeditated, but if y'all ask us a question, you can pick who wins the question. So we can make it a little competitive because I'm so competitive in nature. Since I was early, I think I deserve to go first.
You want to ask one of yours? Is what you're saying first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting off with a softer ball, but I think still a little challenging to answer. Would you prefer loud neighbors or nosy neighbors?
Loud neighbors or nosy neighbors? I have had the pleasure of having both. And I would assume that when you say loud, excuse me, I got to learn how to use my mute button when I cough. Let me see if that works. Did you hear that?
Oh, it's a mute button.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if this stuff is working.
Can I just show you what just happened? Ready?
Well, but there's times to where I will
Is
cough
Brian
or
stalling?
sneeze. I just got to make sure that I know how to use all of the buttons that I have here. So, loud neighbors or nosy neighbors. Um, I will say loud neighbors I've had all over the board. Are these
So
answers supposed to be very concise, or can we expand a little bit?
I'd say for the fun of the game, expand like 10 seconds.
Oh shit, I can't do that for 10 seconds. So anyways, I've had neighbors, loud neighbors back in college. It's going to be more than 10 seconds. And we all lived in an apartment building my last 3 years at Mizzou, and my neighbors, the girl right above me and the girl right below me, the entire time I was there, it was like sex games all the time. All day, all night. Super duper loud. And as a guy, you're thinking, hey, that's pretty cool. It made for great stories. And then I'll tell you, after about a couple weeks of that happening, and this is for 3 years, you can't sleep, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's nothing but thud, 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 and then just moans and screams and all kinds of stuff, and you get tired of it. That being said, I've also had nosy neighbors. I would take loud neighbors over nosy neighbors any day because I don't like people all up in my business.
Yep. That was mine too. Anyone in the audience, loud or nosy? I think they both suck. All right, Brian, what are your softball ones? Or give me a hard one. I don't care.
So we both said loud, right?
Definitively
Okay.
loud. Yes.
This is going to be an easy one, but I'm kind of curious, especially Chelsea, married with a kid, a child. This or that date night in or a date night out
Out.
on the
We
town,
doing
and why?
I like going out. And a date night in feels like not a date night. But we do date nights out once a week. Thursdays are date nights. So if you'll never see me here
Oh,
on
that's
a
right. You guys do
Thursday.
have these all the time. And you do
Hmm.
go out and do stuff, huh?
Yeah, most recently we did a nice Spanish tapas restaurant and ice cream. The time before that, we did a listening studio in Atlanta and listened to some local acoustic bands and comedy, improv.
And you both like going out and doing stuff, right?
Love going out and doing stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so this is where I think our answers will differ.
Yeah.
And it also differs with my wife as well. So she would get along with you guys so much better. I would
We'll
prefer
adopt her. We'll adopt her.
I prefer to stay in on a date night because I can come up with a great date night in because I love cooking, music, drinking. The whole point of, when you go out, one of us can't really drink. Um, and then it's always a matter of, okay, well, you got to get home eventually. So let's just stay home and watch a movie and whatever else happens when you get home. But I would rather just be home and just have fun than go out. Now I'm just to the point in my life. I'm just like, going out is such a hassle. And then I also look at it like it's a waste of money.
But where are your kids?
Well, with them being teenagers now, I mean, they're out and about doing their own thing. Now,
Okay.
I will say, so maybe one of the conditions are the kids home or not? So let's just say if kids were not home or not around for a night or the weekend or something, it's a date night in for sure.
Yeah. I'm still out, but the kids not being home makes it more attractive.
Yeah. Well, I I would rather spend $50 to $75 on ingredients and have music playing, break open maybe a $20 box of wine instead of a $15 box of wine, and make a nice little dinner and watch a couple shows or watch a movie and just relax and just that. I don't like going out, waiting in line somewhere, trying to get in. You have reservations, okay, that's fine, but then you're waiting around for somebody to bring the food, and I don't have time for that.
Oh, so your experience going out is wrong.
I know.
It's
Well,
just not right.
I think that's why she would rather go out and just not without. Just she wants to go without me.
That's great.
All right. So
Okay.
next one, huh?
I'm going to stay in the softball category. Mine are not as easy as date night in or out, though. Would you rather be embarrassed or be afraid?
Would I rather be embarrassed or be afraid? This one here, I would say, is probably an easy one, unless you pose something to me that I'm not thinking of. I would rather be embarrassed than afraid because I feel like I can talk through being embarrassed if I do get embarrassed on certain things, certain situations. I'll think back, like, oh my god, that was super embarrassing. But I can, I feel like I can talk my way out of being embarrassed, and I
Mm-hmm.
can make myself feel better about it. And I think for the most part, we're always making things out to be more than what they are. You're always more embarrassed about something that is happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not as big with everybody else. You know, maybe
Yeah.
you're walking around with your zipper undone or something, and you think and you're like, oh my god, and then like most people probably don't even notice it. So I would
Yeah.
rather be embarrassed than afraid. If I'm afraid, I feel more out of control, and that's the thing for me. I always want to feel like I'm in control of a situation.
Yeah. Actually, like that logic. I struggle with this question for that reason. So I think of all of these as the extremes. If it's like, oh, I'm a little embarrassed or a little afraid, the question's easy. Go with like the extreme versions of all of these. And this one for me, I'm like, neither. Not to say I don't want to answer it, but the true answer is neither. I don't know that I can pick. I can think of like fear being terrible and embarrassment being terrible, but I like your logic. I can talk myself out of embarrassment. I can't always talk myself out of fear. So I'll go with that. Audience, oh, Amanda knows me. She knows I'd go out as long as I don't have to drive.
Yeah.
Anyone else preferences, embarrassed or afraid? All right, I get obscure after this. It gets exciting, but Brian, let's hear yours.
All right. So next one for me. This should be an easy one for you, and I can't wait to get this one question because I think this is a great Chelsea question,
Mm.
but not just yet. So if you can go back for one day in the past to either observe something that you wish that you could have been around to see, or to get the answer from maybe somebody that did something you're like, oh my god, what happened to where they never called me back or they hated me or did something, or you want to go back to uh, you know 300 years ago to see something, or do you want to go out to the future and see like I'd love to see what my kid's doing in 30 years for one day. Is he happy?
Yeah.
I want to go to their wedding. Okay, maybe.
Yeah. So immediately I'd say in the past, and it would be sitting on my grandma's couch as she cuts an apple for me and Brianna. Early in the morning, we'd wake up and snuggle in with her and she'd just tell us stories. So I'd go back to like be present for that again. Though the only dependency for me would be like if I knew I was going to die prematurely, I'd prefer to go forward in the future to like see my kids' wedding exactly as you said.
Right.
So I'm kind of not answering that one.
Well, but you don't know if you're going
But
to die prematurely or not, so that's why you have to make
yeah,
the decision.
assuming I'll live a happy life, I would rather go back in the past and like relive a moment with someone I lost. Yeah.
That's good.
Which would you do?
I this is one I do struggle with because I obviously would love to do either one, but I think I would, having more than one kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, like, what day am I going to pick? You know,
Pick your
because then it's
favorite
like,
kid.
which kid for
Who's
the
your
day?
favorite?
Right.
Who do you like the most?
So I may do something for like humanity
Yeah.
and go back in time and find out, uh, you know, uh, the beginning of time or something, just to see, where did we all start from? What's the day that we
Ryan's gonna solve the Big Bang problem.
walked out of the water or something? Or I think I'd want to go back and just observe something for a day and then come back and be like, okay, great. Because my problem is if I go into the future and I know something that's going to happen, I would probably obsess over it the entire time and I'd be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather go back and uh, I'll sit down. Maybe we'll have a Brian and Chelsea make a podcast episode of, okay, let's find a day that I go back and I'll let you guys know what I see for that day.
I like
So
it. That'd be fun. I agree with the future thing. It's like I don't. That's where if I knew I was dying, I'd go for the future. If I knew I was living, I don't want to see
right.
the future. Totally. All
All
right.
right.
Ready?
Yep.
We're getting weird. Your question was so thoughtful and sentimental, and I'm going to throw this at you. Babies dressed as animals or animals dressed as humans?
Babies dressed as animals or animals dressed as humans. Now, I will say I don't have any this or that that's anything like this question.
I nailed the
Babies,
obscure. Thank you, Julie. They love it.
babies dressed as animals or animals dressed as humans.
It's not my most obscure question.
I would say, and simply because these TikToks keep coming to my mind here as you said that, I keep seeing these little dogs running through somebody's apartment, and they've got like a little Wicket Ewok outfit on. So when they walk, they look like little Ewoks running around. And I think those are kind of cute. So I will say an animal dressed as a human or an
Ewok
Ewok.
is not a human.
Well, a human-ish.
Human-ish.
They evolve from a similar.
In Star Wars evolution.
So I'm going to say animal dressed as a human.
Yep. That's mine too. Julie says babies as animals. I do. I love like a dog working at a desk with a suit on.
Where do you see that?
On TikTok, no?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, you see everything on TikTok. That's why I like
Yeah.
it so much.
Yeah. All right. You don't have anything weird? Because I excel in the weird category. That's the least weird one.
Maybe we'll see as we go.
Okay.
Okay. Here's one.
Mhm.
This is a good one. This is a good one. A classic dilemma. This or that. To love and lost. To have loved and lost, or to never know love at all. True love. We all
Yep.
know what we're talking about here, right?
Yep.
So can you imagine? And you have to go through one or the other.
Mhm. No,
Absolutely true love and the heartbreak of losing it.
Yep. So this is gonna, I don't know, maybe I was too deep in this moment, but I have thought through this because to me, at least for me, this was like a big question in the decision to have children. It's like you can't control their health or their well-being as much as you'd like. And so I have a child, so you can imagine. So I went with I would rather to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. But I definitely thought about this a lot. So I was like that I couldn't imagine the heartbreak and managing that and dealing with that and like living through that. And I was like, you know what? I think it'll be worth it in the end, no matter what. So very deep, but that was my strange.
I think as far as the like the true love, whether or not it's mother child like you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
or it's a love between two adult people,
Lovers.
lovers, yeah. But and this is why movies and music are so good, is the idea of not having it anymore, and the losing it, or what is it, unrequited love.
Mm-hmm. Is it
So
unrequited? Unrequited?
unrequited. I don't know
I
what
have
that
no
is.
idea.
But I guess if the other person doesn't love you, is it really love? I don't know.
No,
But
I don't think so, by the way.
it has to be two ways.
I
It has to go
personally,
both ways.
that's my
Yeah.
definition of love is
No,
two ways.
but I think you would only truly know if that was it if you lost it.
Mhm.
And so I would choose on here to have loved and lost,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to going my entire life of not really knowing. Because if you don't know, or if you're always looking, then you haven't found that one person.
Yep.
So
Also, I'd be shocked. Yeah, the question is sad. We're getting the audience is like, Brian, where are you taking this right now? But I will say, I'd be shocked if a gardener answered never to have loved at all, because I think there's something like core in our DNA of growing plants. We all dealt with this in Georgia with the freeze of like we are loved and lost people because we pour our energy. And I know it's not true, it's not love us, but like similar. I think I would guess that almost anyone who gardens is going to be love and lost. That's my guess.
Yeah, and I think as you, well, that's a great point, especially with gardeners, because as you garden for so many years, you learn that your shit's gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Like not everything
Mhm.
lives on, and you're gonna have pepper plants that just don't make it as seedlings or anything, or uh, you plant something and then squirrels come around and tear the shit out of the raised bed and knock everything out that you spent so much time on. And I've worked on that for a long time, and now really nothing really bothers me gardening wise. What'd you show?
Sorry. My screen froze and I showed Julie's. It was like I was trying to change the topic to something more fun, but I'm going to show Allison's.
Brian's questions are so deep and make me uncomfortable. Yeah. Oh, I've got a couple other ones that
Wait,
there's
wait,
one
wait.
I want.
No. I'm not even kind of deep. So this is hysterical. I did not think of a deep category. Mine are not deep. Mine are weird. So I'm going to go weird. Er,
Amanda thought this was a
yeah,
party episode. This
I
is a
know.
party. This is exactly how my parties were back in the day.
Okay,
My
I'm going to
Go
yeah.
ahead. I was just going to say my best party days. I have to go way back to college where we're in where I lived, and there's 5 or 6 of us and everybody's drunk, high, or everybody was getting it on. But it was
So
like before all that happens was like fantastic conversations like this.
So it's all knowing how Brian prefers to party and stay in. I have a question, and this is specific to you. We would all know my answer to this. Talking to a bunch of strangers at a party or Instagram influencers misinformation.
Say that again.
Talking to a bunch of strangers at a party, my screen was cut off, or Instagram influencers sharing misinformation.
And I have to pick one or the other.
Mhm.
I guess I'm gonna pick talking to strangers at a party.
Really?
Yeah,
I
because I
thought you
can
would
make that.
hate that.
I would hate it, but I can make it entertaining. I can
That's how much
entertain
you hate
myself with it.
influencers sharing bad info.
I I mean, just the whole social media thing right now is not the best topic for me. But I will say, as much as I don't like interacting with other people, like in real life or whatever, I can make it into a game, and I can make that interesting and fascinating for myself.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes,
Um,
Danielle, this is how I partied in college. I've had some. Those turned out to be some pretty good nights. That may
okay.
that may fall under our next game night of the Never Have I Ever.
And anyone's welcome to throw other questions out there because Brian's about to go, and I'm guessing we're staying in the deep category, y'all.
Oh, okay. So I'm picking my next one.
Yep.
I was uh I was going to put our little crawler at the bottom.
Nice.
Okay, so my next one. Oh, this is a good one. And yes, now I'm kind of realizing that all of mine kind of are morbid. This is terrible.
I was so curious the category you would be falling within, and this is not what I expected.
Now, this might be part of the embarrassing thing. Like now, I feel embarrassed that I'm so fucking morbid. Okay, so this one here, and this is a absolute legit question. Absolute. Die far too early, let's say in your 40s, or way too late, and let's say in your 90s. And the reason why I ask this is I have, in my own family, I've watched my grandparents. My grandfather was 90 something years old. I watched the last 15 years of his life. Absolutely awful. horrible. I can't imagine how I would be able to survive that mentally,
Mm-hmm.
not having any dignity of body autonomy, having to have help doing stuff, and then living out your life wherever where you could be by yourself and just miserable.
Mm-hmm.
No stimulation whatsoever. He at the end, for whatever reason, so he was at a facility. We'd go visit, and it was the my worst nightmare. So depressing because there's all these other old people, and they
Yep.
all sat there waiting to die. I should be embarrassed at these questions, but so this is interesting. So,
We're like laughing at your so sweet story.
so to be to to be here on this earth way too long,
Mm-hmm.
or to be like, oh my god, did you hear about Chelsea?
So I don't disagree that this one is hard. Though I would say too early and like hope. So my husband's grandparents, all of them have lived 89 into 90s healthily. And so I've also seen my family no, but I've also seen his family do very well in their 90s and just have that really beautiful life of like I've experienced a lot. And so I'm going with 90s because I think you can have the alternative version of your 90s. And by the time I'm 90, I'm betting modern medicine is okay. Now, I do want to die. It's not like I'm going to live forever. I just don't want to die young.
Do you know, like on TikTok, for some reason now there's accounts that have people. Yeah, make sure you say we're gonna do hers. Let's do hers next. Where's my Zoloft? So there's accounts now that they chronicle day to day of taking care of their parents that are staying with them. There's one in particular that I just saw that their dad is living with them. He has dementia and can't remember things from day to day, and
Awful.
they
I'm
detail
laughing. It's
everything.
awful.
It's awful. And
Why
I
am
see
I
that
laughing? Because look at Allison.
and I'm like, I cannot imagine living like this.
That'd be terrible.
I absolutely cannot. I don't want to be a burden.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a
That's right.
burden on the kids taking care of this older gentleman.
Yeah.
And this isn't how he wants to go out. And every day he's on there. He progressively, you can see it because we've been watching and following. He gets worse and worse. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this. So I
Yeah.
don't want to live a long life.
So
I know this.
I'm trying to take you seriously and be empathetic, but comments are killing me right now. All right. We're gonna do Amanda's softball. Like changing the topic. Snakes or spiders, actually incredibly hard for me to answer. I have been seriously considering getting one of those like wolf jumping spiders, and I follow all these breeders of them. And I already have a corn snake. So this question is very tough, but I would go snake because they're super easy to care for. And I know this isn't as a pet, but also I think there are more poisonous spiders in Georgia than snakes, so maybe it's the same quantity.
I would think that you guys have a bunch of poisonous snakes.
Maybe like 3. I don't know. But it's more easy for me to differentiate them. Like a brown recluse is, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to identify.
Hmm. This is a good one because I used to be deathly afraid of both. Like to the
Really?
point to where I would freak out, especially over spiders. I was always and it was a unhealthy, uneducated fear of both. And whenever I came across either of the two, the first thing that came to my mind was to kill it. Right?
What?
But
No, not
deathly
right.
afraid of either one. Like I remember, like I would freak out. I'm so embarrassed by this one too that I took a
We're
telephone book.
embarrassing Brian, Amanda, crushing it.
I took a telephone book and threw it to kill a spider. And thinking back, I think it was like just one of those like wolf spiders or something. Like they're huge.
Yeah. Yes, I'm trying to get one as a
Yeah,
pet.
well, you could have gotten one off the back of the telephone book that I threw at it. I was always so afraid of spiders. Like my mom would actually still make fun of me for it. But with gardening, I have overcome a lot of those fears with spiders and snakes. And so here's where I chalk it up to gardening to where I am. Yeah, I feel like I've come around to the point to where almost it's more dangerous for me because now I'm not as afraid of them and it
Yeah.
might be like a poisonous one. So I'm going to say snakes for me if I had to choose.
I collected both as a child. Like I struggle with picking because they're so great. But I lost the audience. Okay, I got to get everybody back on my side. I'm losing points here. Let's see.
Oh,
Very
this
good
is a good
one.
one.
Very good one. So many elements to consider because, and you know, Brian and I love this type shit. We don't, I think there's some predictability with a robot because they're made by men,
Predictability is
humans.
good, right?
Predictability is good.
As we
So, like,
get
if,
older, we're like, look, just do the same thing as last time.
yeah,
Every
like,
single time.
we don't technically have any possible idea what aliens are, and any of our projections of them are wrong, and we're always putting some human ideal onto them.
But isn't that kind of
And
sexy though to think?
so that would be sexy if that was the truth. Like if they looked like what's her face from Guardians in the Galaxy, yeah, I'm going alien. But I think the problem is we don't know, and I have a bigger fear of what's going to come out of the door that I'm then, you know. And so I'm going to go with robots because it's some predictability.
Uh, uh,
And like
so
technically, you've been having sex with robots most of your life. You use any form of, I don't know, why am I calling it like pleasure machinery? That's the word coming from.
is that what you call yours?
No.
What's that?
Why
What's it
say
called? The
that?
Sibian? Do you have a Sibian?
Oh dear
Isn't
God,
that what
I
it's
don't
called?
even know what just happened. Moving
And
on, Brian.
why was your alien example the girl from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Because she's really hot.
That's what I mean. I'm just curious. Everybody take note.
I
The
don't.
one
Can we think of
sex with
another
alien,
sexy robot or alien? I mean,
half the cast on Star Wars alien wise, I would probably do it with. I mean, let's not
I'm trying to think of like anyone in particular.
the
Alien,
Jedi.
not human.
No, yes, I know.
Who?
Ayla Sakura.
Uh. See, but all the aliens that I think are sexy basically look like people, but they have different skin tone. Like that's not an alien. That's the problem.
I mean,
I
just
know
about.
the hair would freak me out. The Medusa hair is a lot.
I would I would have sex with an alien over the robot. Although I'd like to
Really?
see the robot.
But you're
I wouldn't be
picking your
afraid of.
alien. You're picking your alien. We don't know what aliens look like. So you have no idea what's coming to this planet and
Are
what
we?
kind of body they have and what
Well,
kind
let
of
me ask. Okay, let me ask
orifices.
this. Let me ask this. Condition wise, are they wanting to have sex with us, like to pleasure us? Like, is this a romantic
There are
thing
no
with an alien,
conditions. You cannot, there
or
are
is the
no
alien like
conditions.
doing things to me, and I'm like,
I'm with Danielle. We all have sex toys in our drawers. We're already comfortable having sex with robots. I'm going with robots. Well, aliens, that's a mixed bag.
well, that's a machine that you have,
Yeah,
not a
that's a
robot.
robot.
No, it's not. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
No, robot and a machine are different.
What
Whatever's
the
in your
robot?
drawers is not a robot.
What if mine has AI? A robot's programmed by a human and would be capable of human things. Yeah, I think robots are predictable because humans make them. And I have this huge fear of this alien with like giant parts that like don't fit in places.
See now, remind me what. Okay, this is at the 39-minute mark. I've got to clip that one out. I have got to clip that one out next week.
Like C3PO would be terrible.
would be
He's
terrible.
insecure and very worried about everything.
He would be terrible. No,
This is great.
there are some hot aliens in every sci-fi. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, if I can
But
pick the alien, I'm going with aliens. Okay.
I think they would. They would.
I
I'm
don't
going
have anything
alien.
that. All right. I'm going to ask
Although,
one.
wait a second. Although
You're switching.
one of my, I'm still thinking. Uh, what's the movie that just came out 5 years ago? Domhnall Gleeson, the AI robot they built um, on the island with Isaac.
I don't know.
Oh, God damn it. She was hot.
Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about. She was terrifying.
She, you know, the where he goes, Domhnall Gleeson wins the lottery at his company. He goes to the island.
Yes.
Isaac, what's his name? The actor's name. Played in Star
I'm,
Wars also.
I know I'm very, very bad at
He
that,
played
though.
Poe Dameron in Star Wars.
I know exactly what
Somebody
you're
help me.
talking about. Someone know the movie we're talking about with the terrifying, sexy woman robot?
Are aliens lubricated? I think they would be.
See, this is the problem. We know nothing about aliens. We know a lot about robots.
Well, I mean, you know, the robots have to be lubricated, right? Because they have the robots have to move around. There has to be lubrication. For
I'm
a
thinking
robot.
very like Ready Player One when you say have sex with a robot.
I would say alien. I would probably say alien because now I'm just like I kind of want to know what that would be like.
Thinking of these like big, scary, amorphous, sexless things that arrive that have zero human features.
I
and
get
you're
the
like,
one from like The Simpsons that looks like an octopus and he has
I
all these
know.
little or it because I
That
don't know
is
if it was a
what
guy
I'm
and then
envisioning.
just things just going all over the place. But I can't knock it. Who knows?
Don't knock it till you try it.
You know, I don't want to be racist or anything against it. I think it would be fun. So I'm going to say alien.
Wait, final statement. I don't want to be racist, so I'm going with alien.
I'm going to go with alien. I think that would be more fun because that's
Great.
I think the unknown of different things happening to me, I would go with an alien.
Still gonna go with a robot because it's
You're still gonna go with a robot?
Yeah, I need the predictability. I have too much. I firmly believe that we have far too little creativity to actually understand what aliens may be like. And so I am very afraid of what alien may be showing up at the door.
Okay.
Ooh.
Robot alien. All right. Let's go with do Julie's real quick, and then I got mine coming.
All right. Okay. I will say this one is hard because it comes from a place of privilege where like I have savings and security nets and things, but I would rather lose all my money because I can bounce back from that.
I feel like I have lost all my money like this year, last year, the year before. So I would rather lose my money because I'm kind of used to it by now. I mean, just in the last 2 weeks alone, I've had like 5 things go out here at the house that I've had to try to fix. Water everywhere, pull out the drywall, tear out pipes.
That drunk deer who got in a bar fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick on that one. I'd rather lose my money. I want to keep my memories. This is all I have.
I can see plenty of people who may need to pick memories, and I can understand that. But yeah,
If I had sex with an alien, would they like mind wash me to where I wouldn't remember?
This is what I'm saying. This is why would you ever pick an alien? It makes no sense to me.
I just think that they would show me something different. Like maybe I'm missing out on something. Like we're so used to just like a few things that we're like, oh, this is how this part of our body works. What if an alien's like, Brian, you guys have no idea.
Think about all the redneck stories of like, I got trapped on a UFO and they probed me, man. You're like, I want that. I'm here for that. I would like to be probed by an alien.
But that's different. That's having both, and that's alien and a robot. Unless the alien's doing the probing.
They could have a probe.
How does Amanda even know about furries?
How would she not? Furries or people who think they are vampires? I'm definitely going to go with people who think they are vampires because I don't mind a little bit of that.
I would totally pick. I would do a vampire right now.
Oh, wait, a real vampire? No, I would do people who think that's just a little bit biting.
No, I'd be like, bite me.
Real vampire. Yeah. It's like
I would love it.
You're making this is based
No,
on like Vampire Diaries assumption where you're gonna get like stoned off their blood and they're not gonna kill you.
no, I've,
This is like sexy vampire. This isn't like
yeah, oh yeah.
terrifying. This isn't like what's that show with that woman?
I'm familiar with Twilight. I've
No,
read
not
most of the
Twilight. Twilight's
books.
sexy too. I'm talking about the one that's
I,
not
well, I
sexy.
know, but Amanda's asking.
Oh, are we Twilight fans? Sorry, Amanda, I missed that.
I'm familiar with it. I wouldn't say it's like a good book or anything like that, or the
Yeah.
movies are really bad, but it's like junk food. I'll watch it.
What's the woman who has some vampire blood in her so she turns vampires back into humans? That show. That comic series.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
What? Anyone as nerdy as me? I can't think of names of things. It's like a memory problem, but it's so good. That one, the vampires are not sexy. Like you would not be into that.
Mm, again, it would.
They kind
I,
of look like zombies.
usually the people who identify as vampires have a sex factor of 0.
This is a
Again,
really
how
good
does
point.
Amanda even know? Like, where is she
But
pulling this information from?
but furries, super sexy people.
Yeah, no, I would vampire all the way.
Furries bother me. Conceptually, I'm confused.
Like Interview
Vampires is
with the
just like you like
Vampire.
some
Like,
light
you know
core
how
biting SM.
even the
S&M.
guys on there were like hot on Interview with the Vampire. You remember that, or were you even born then?
Maybe not.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Brad Pitt as a vampire, Antonio Banderas.
Like in Buffy, the vampires when they were vampiring weren't attractive.
See, Amanda is like, well, you can Google it. Well, why are you Googling it then, Amanda?
Sitting at home googling furries.
You're not sitting here now Googling it. You had this information before, is the thing. So
Okay.
I'm picking vampire for sure.
Give people time to brainstorm more. Brian, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I can go or you can go. I'm looking at mine right now.
I have one because it's semi-related to something you've already done, and I'm
All right,
curious.
Let's do it.
Would you rather be rich and famous, or I should make this go away? Rich and famous, or poor and unknown?
Rich and famous or poor and unknown. I mean, I feel like I'm living that life now. So I know everybody says, well, money can't buy you everything. Money can, and I'm like, I can at least rule out a few things where I have to worry about rent next month. I can buy a new computer so that we can do a live without things getting fucked up.
Wait, you feel like you're living the rich and famous life or the poor and
No,
unknown
I
life?
said I know about living the poor and unknown life.
Okay, I was curious.
So I'm like, I'll take a shot at the rich and famous.
You want to be famous.
I would be like Prince. I would be so reclusive as a rich person. I would build like a palace and I would stay within my palace and then invite certain people over when I wanted to spend time with them and then be like, okay, have somebody say, okay, you know, Prince wants you to leave right now. I don't know if you ever watched the SNL episodes where they made fun of Prince, but I would be, if I was a rich person, I would be like Prince. Plus, he also has the same taste in women. Like every woman that was associated with, I was like, oh my God, that's my type.
Aliens.
They could have been alien. Who knows? So I would say I would take my shot at being rich and famous.
Okay, I could be poor and unknown, but
you would?
Yeah. I'm saying famous. Like, can't leave your house without security, you know? Prince.
Yeah, but, you know.
I'll pass. But you don't want to leave your house. I picked a bad one
but
for
being
you.
rich, I can address a lot of issues.
I thought you'd hate being famous, but I didn't think about it. It just
I
encourages you to be a recluse, though. It encourages you to never leave your house.
I would be a super recluse. I would be the worst
As
rich
opposed to
person
now.
because I wouldn't give my money away. I would just hoard it and I would just do things. I would have like vampire alien sex night. And just have everybody come as their favorite alien or vampire. I would have like freaky parties like that where I just stay in.
Brian's getting famous and rich and just hosting freaky sex parties. That's what's happening.
I mean, we'd still do our podcast though. because then we can talk about it. All right, let's do. How are we doing on time? Let's see, 49.
We
About
have
10
about 10 minutes
minutes.
left. I have like 3 other questions I kind of want to ask.
Okay, so
I know.
I want to
I
get
think my
to
Wi-Fi is a
this
problem.
one here. Is the my see the sound as the longer we go. It's my system. All right, here's a good one, and this is perfect. This is what I thought about. This is a Chelsea question because Chelsea,
Okay.
if you remember, our first time together with Star Wars and the debate between black and white and gray. Chelsea's a very
Mm.
gray person. So here's one. Do something illegal and wrong to put away a bad guy or play by the books and watch them go free. Context of this question, I
Mm-hmm.
will say, without divulging who I talked to, what they were involved with or whatever, but in an official capacity. This is somebody that I know in real life
Mm-hmm.
and is somebody that I would have conversations every now and then, and I would get the other side info of things that I'm not privy to. You know, we're all make our determination and decisions what we see in the world and what we consider right and wrong. And I would always take certain things, certain stories, certain things that have happened in St. Louis in the last let's say 10, 15 years to be safe. Like, hey, tell me what you guys know about this. And a conversation a couple times had been like, look, if I know that this guy is a bad guy and there's no other way to uh, get him off the streets, you're gonna do some things. You know they're a bad guy. You're gonna do some things to ensure that you can get him off the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. And the conversations are nothing is like TV. Nothing super black and white. And good guys are going to do some bad things, and occasionally bad guys do good things. So with that in mind, Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. So I struggle with this one is not the doing something illegal. I have no problem, obviously, doing something illegal. My struggle with this one is the words bad guy because I don't believe that.
Let's say a rapist.
Oh, do something illegal. Hands down. Done. Proven rapist, do something illegal. Easy.
Like, and something like that would be like plant evidence or lie,
Yep. I'll do it personally.
leave evidence out. Let's just say stuff like that.
Yep.
Where
I would
a good
personally do
person,
it.
let's say Chelsea's a good person. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say Chelsea's part of law enforcement of some capacity.
Which no one wants.
Um, would you do what's necessary, knowing that the person that you're trying to get is a bad person? Do the gloves come off and you?
Yep. So I'll qualify this. I still don't believe in bad people. You know that. I don't believe that people are bad or good. I believe people have capacity for both at all times, even a rapist. But I don't think the system is supportive of putting them away appropriately. So I'd be more than happy to do something illegal to put them away.
Help bury a body or turn the person. Oh, that's another question. Okay, hold on.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. That's a good one.
So to answer my own question,
Oh.
I'm just gonna say, yeah, I could easily, if I know, or I think I know. I mean, I have to go off of if I think I know that person's bad. I would absolutely.
I have this perfect image of you like, Brian, a lawman. I know they're bad.
But later on, as we're laying in bed, you think about this question and you think about headlines that you read about certain things, and then you're like, well, if all you saw was a dirty cop that planted something, let's say, then does that make a difference? Then
I mean, I don't.
I know without more information, I get it, but I'm saying that's a lot of these things happen in life
Yeah.
where good guys have to do not good things and vice versa. So, all right, so that was a good one. Okay, I like that
Yeah,
answer.
that was a good one. All right, got a similar. Should we do the similar vein, and then I have a totally different one. So again, like you said, I'm a gray space person, and because I'm a gray space person, a question like this is super challenging for me, as the last one was, because I was like, "What does bad guy mean?" It's like help bury a body or turn the person in. Like, I don't know. I had to turn them in. Could I just like not help bury the body?
It would depend on how well I like this person.
Yeah, perjure yourself or screw them over. These are the options, Amanda. Um,
I can do either one of these, and it would just depend on my relationship with the said person.
I would say neither of us can answer this question. Amanda wins.
Well, we're gonna have to.
You no, you just said it depends.
Well, I'm if it's somebody that I like and they did something real. See, this is yeah, it's a great question.
It's a great question.
Somebody
I
that I
don't.
like and they did something bad. Am I going to help bury the body? I mean, this is like half the Netflix specials that I watch.
Hmm. I
I
don't know
would
that I can answer that.
I would if they did something bad, I would do my best to have them turn themselves in.
I may
But
pay for someone to help them bury the
if it's
body.
somebody that I love, then there is a possibility I could help, or maybe let's say I had sex with an alien and the alien died. I would be like, Chelsea, you are not going to believe this. I just had
I'm
this
not burying
crazy
that. I'm turning you
sex night
in.
with an 8-legged alien.
This is for the good of science. I can't bury the alien. I have to turn you in.
I need you to alter the DNA that's all over the place here. So
No.
yeah, so I think we answered it, right?
Yeah. As gardeners, we do have great resources to get rid of a body. That is true. Okay. I'm going a different path.
For those of us that can compost, Amanda.
Yeah, which is actually not me yet. I have a verma bin, whatever the worm bin. Okay, Brian, ready?
Yeah.
I don't think you're ready for this one. Okay. The homestead bundle or your slow computer.
My slow computer.
Really? That
Yeah.
fast?
I can't. Yeah. Everything I probably hate in this universe, I can probably wrap up with everything and everyone that's involved with that Homestead Bundle Act.
Oh, I thought I picked a good contra to that. Does
No,
anyone else have a
that's a
better
great
one?
one. That's a great question.
Anyone have a better contra for Brian on the homestead bundle? Because I did not nail the contra.
That's a great question. As
Thanks,
much as I
thanks.
hate my slow computer and it's driving me nuts
I
and it
know.
prevents me from doing a lot of our nice things that we do here, I cannot tell you the illegal things I would like to do with that bundle and most of the people that are involved with it.
Oh, well, if anyone has a better contra to the homestead bundle, they're welcome to present it. But sounds like, all right, I got one more weird one. But Brian, curious. I know we're technically close to time, but what's your like? These are our big ammo questions, and my big ammo question was way too easy for you, so I'm disappointed.
All right, so I've got two questions
Ooh,
left, but
wait. Allison has a homestead bundle. Really, really quick.
okay.
Homestead bundle or having to promote Instagram. And Allison, I thought of something similar.
Homestead Bundle or what now?
You promoting Instagram.
Or the Homestead Bundle. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm promoting Instagram.
Okay. Homestead bundle or being
And you guys are
banned.
all Homestead Bundle on this. Okay, go ahead.
I asked them for contras. Homestead bundle or being banned.
Banned. Banned for 30 days is not a big deal. I haven't even really been on Instagram for the last like 45 days.
No good
The
contra.
the best thing about Instagram is you utilizing that scheduling feature. I can spend
Mhm.
one day and like 30 minutes and just schedule it out, and then I'm not even in it. This
I
last
know
like
you're on Instagram.
month and
We
a half,
we like message daily.
uh, I get on there to check our conversations because we have to do this, and then real briefly on the messages on who's in, depending on what mailbox.
Mm, there we
Okay.
go. All right. What's your last two? Do one. So mine is like a good one. It could take some debate. It's really obscure. So you decide how you'd prioritize mine against yours.
Well, I go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I wish I had a banner. All right. So everyone needs to listen to this one. It's very complex. There's a modern US tank, whatever you know about them. And there is a billion babies. The tank can't run out of fuel, and the billion babies also have all the nutrition and basics to survive. Would you pick the tank to win or the billion babies?
Wait, am I winning the tank or a billion babies?
You're not present. There's just a tank and a billion babies.
There's a tank, like an Abrams tank,
Yep,
and then there's like a billion babies.
a billion.
Am I picking which I prefer? Like which
No, which wins? Which
in a fight?
survives?
I want
Is
to
it a
make sure that
fight?
the tank.
A billion babies. Billion.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for us to comprehend billion. I get that. I still would say tank.
A billion. If you
The tank
just
doesn't
did
run
the
out of gas,
math,
I thought you said.
the tank has all the fuel it needs,
All the
as
fuel.
do the babies.
Yeah, I still go with the tank, but I mean a billion's a lot. So
Hmm.
I get that. I'll still go with the tank. That's just my initial reaction. So I'm not sure,
Hmm.
are they fighting or am I winning? Like
They're
if
they
it's
are
something that
they are aging. They're normal babies.
and they're going to people that I probably a bunch of them probably sell the or the homestead bundle or something. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the tank. I'm gonna go with the tank. I'm not a big
Ah.
baby person either.
There's
I
nothing
like
missing with
mine.
this question. I discuss it with friends all the time. There's nothing missing this question. The question is trying to assess how well you understand the word billion. Really, that's what the question is trying
Yeah,
to assess.
Amanda, Julie, I agree with you guys. Which I love weird questions and I love things that are kind of open ended.
Oh, I got weird.
Um,
All right,
I
before we get to your questions, we do also have one more homestead contra.
yeah,
You want to try it?
go for it. Homestead bundle or shart in public. Now, explain to me the shart, just to make
It's,
sure that I understand what that is.
it's when you fart, but a little shit comes out.
Oh, um, without like, unless you're saying like, okay, I do that and I'm stuck at this party and I can't go anywhere. That would be worse. But I'm still, I would, I'm telling you, everything and just the type of people that I do not like, I can show you my block list, and most of them are people you guys probably know,
Wait,
and they're
that's
all
why we're
involved with
doing
that. So
this.
yeah, I would shart in my I would shit in my pants, and I'd find a way out of the situation.
Oh, okay.
I don't see a thing to where homestead bundle, you know, eh,
No good contra.
be a roommate with Ted Bundy or order the homestead bundle. I mean, maybe something like that, you know?
Wow.
I know. Yeah.
All right. Amanda would like you to wrap us up, but she has some prerequisites.
So,
So I'll let you take us home.
how about, okay, I've got the two questions and we'll just do like, and this will just be for Chelsea. You answer them kind of quick. Okay. So
Okay.
the two questions that I had left, the first one was The Last of Us because I know that you watched that and I think that you were kind of
Mm,
a fan of it, and
big
we
fan.
watched it as well. I
Are we
said,
spoiling?
"Oh no, sorry." So let me put that up there.
Spoilers?
Well, if you haven't watched The Last of Us,
Stop watching this.
stop watching this. But I mean, come on,
It's
keep
been
up
quite
with.
some time.
It's enough time. It really
Yeah,
is. It's enough time. Nobody's. We shouldn't have to wait for you weeks after the last episode. All right, here
agreed.
we go.
Okay.
The Last of Us, and you are Joel, or in Joel's position. Do you save Ellie? And but I can't even write on here. Save Ellie, and but humanity, all but humanity's last hope is gone. Or do you
Mhm.
sacrifice her for the benefit of everyone else? You know what I'm saying here,
I know,
right?
I know.
Okay.
So I have debated this question with
As
friends.
has the public since the that last episode. Like everybody hated Joel for
Yep.
what he did.
So I vote yes. I vote save Ellie 100% because I think the idea of saving everyone else is wrong. Like I do not actually think what he did was selfish. The reality in the universe that they were in, that he was going to get something that was actually going to work, and then how do you distribute it, how do you mass produce it given this, like, the requirements they were under and given the circumstances they were under? It makes no sense. So I would save Ellie because I don't actually think there was an opportunity for them to make a vaccine that would save everyone else. I do think it could have been interesting that they make a vaccine to like save his brother's village and like make a few people immune. But I don't think they ever would have been able to mass produce, mass distribute, given the challenges we have with that. Like, think about during COVID, like we couldn't even get vaccines to people. They wouldn't take them, etc. So personally, I think save Ellie because the alternative is not realistic.
I think what you just mentioned there would make for a great episode of like The Walking Dead down the road, to where let's say they find the vaccine for zombies and then they can't get a whole 40%, 50% of the people that are on the show to take it. You know, that, and that plays into current things.
I
I
know
think that would be
that's
brilliant for a show.
that's
I think
my
he was super
assumption.
selfish. I think he was absolutely wrong in killing all those people, all the hard work that they were trying to do to save everybody. And I would probably have done the same thing as him. So,
Wait, I'm
and
so confused. You would have saved Ellie, but you think it's terrible that he
yeah,
did.
I would have done the terrible thing that he did. I would have done the exact
Okay,
same thing, and mine would have been for selfish reasons. So that's
totally.
where you talk about the love that you have for a child.
Totally. And I was sitting with my friends who the wife was pregnant at the time. They now have their son, but at the time the wife was pregnant and we were watching the show. And at the end, they both look at us because they both played the game. So they knew what was happening. So they both look at me and my husband who didn't play the game. Can you believe that? Like, what do you think about Joel? And we both were like, oh, yeah, totally. We would have done what Joel did. No way. And she's sitting there like 9 months pregnant. I'm like, you will know any week now. You will know. And you will do exactly what Joel did.
But then this is where if it wasn't me and I was like Fred, and I saw what Joel did, and let's say there's look there, everybody thinks their kid is awesome, right? Everybody thinks they have like the smartest kid, and like their kid is so sweet and everything. And for me, it's like 50-50 of the people that I know, their kids really aren't that bright. They're not really that good of a kid. Can you imagine if he would have done that for a kid that wasn't a good kid?
So Brian
At
is
least
down
Ellie
to
is.
kill arbitrary child, just
Yes,
not Ellie.
it would depend. It would absolutely depend. I hope that if one of you are in that position, I hope your kids are really good, or else I'll be so pissed.
What's hard, I don't know. I more believe in this because I like Ellie. I don't think I no, sorry, because of the father relationship. I don't think I think like Ellie of other children deserved it necessarily. Like I'm fine with like this is a terrible sentence. I'm fine with the hypothetical concept of killing a child to save everyone. But as the parent in this scenario, I would not have done it.
As a parent who realize that he had parent feelings towards the end. He wasn't a parent at the beginning. He wasn't her real dad.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that you can't be, you have to be a birth child to be their dad, but I'm saying he just happened to realize that, the connection between him and his daughter and then Ellie. But if she was a shitty character or something, I would be so pissed. So anyway, so just to be quick, and then here's my last one. Yeah, I look back at all my questions. I'm gonna be like, God damn. The ability to please and satisfy anyone, but you will never know pleasure
Ooh.
yourself, or you never satisfy anyone, but you feel pleasure every time. And you can read whatever you want into that.
Hmm.
And as I read this now, I don't know if it's any. Does this read different from a guy's perspective than a girl's perspective? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't necessarily read it sexually.
Oh well.
I'm guessing that's where you are going.
I didn't write it sexually, but
yeah.
feel free to read into it however you want.
I hate these catch-22s.
You could satisfy and pleasure anyone that you wanted. You know that being with Chelsea. However, alien, vampire, whatever, they would be like, God damn.
So
I like Chelsea. But then you would be like, you'd feel nothing. Or would you want to live the rest of your life and be like everyone that you're with? You're just like, oh my God.
So I actually can't exactly answer this question. I'm going to give a semi cop out answer. If we're talking about everyone,
anyone that you choose, anyone that you chose. And it's not like you walk into a room and then like everybody's like.
But if we were talking about like anyone, like broader people, I would go with myself. If we were talking about individual specific people, I would probably go with the opposite.
Anyone that you would choose, whether it's.
So it's like individual people I care about. Yeah, I'd rather they're satisfied in whatever life.
And then you would live the rest of your life just not knowing what having satisfaction or knowing what pleasure is like.
Yes, but if we're talking about like broader groups of people, I would do the alternative.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. What would you say?
I probably wrote at the time, I probably wrote this in a more sexual way, but I left it very kind of for interpretation. But it's definitely from a guy's point of view, I guess. So I think that I would pick the ability to please and pleasure, satisfy, and then I would just do without. I would learn to just. That's how it is. I would have to create my own pleasure, knowing that the other person is pleased.
That's what I think is hard about this question, actually. If the question was explicitly sexual, it would be easier for me to answer.
Right,
potentially.
Make it sexual then.
So if it's like
just because everything else of my questions was very like heavy, I guess. So let's make this one.
Amanda said I won. So I would say the former, like everyone else, because I know that I can find pleasure in other parts of life that isn't sexual pleasure. And I actually find multiple types of pleasure to be equitable, all in all.
Off the top of your head, what would you say would be just
like
as good?
The food or sex. Like, would you rather give up like cheese or sex? I'm like, oh, whoa. Like, what?
It depends on what kind of cheese, but I don't know about that.
A really good chocolate. Like if you were food or sex, like you never enjoy food again. You do not care about the flavor or taste of food again. Or
that goes into the love thing. Like love, there's no tangible thing about. I know, but I'm saying ultimate sexual pleasure is like love in a sense that there's no tangible.
Oh, Ryan, the romantic. I'm not talking about love.
No, but to not know and feel That's almost like saying that you want to go through life without being loved or knowing what love is. Because I, as much as I would probably joke with it, oh shit, we've lost her audio. Your audio's gone.
I had my own catch
Oh, there
22
we
over
go.
here. I had to say, should I plug in my laptop or should I keep my microphone
Oh,
plugged? And I went with no microphone. No, you're being like, who knew that you were such a sap? I'm talking about like orgasm, like sex, like just pleasure from sex. I'm not talking about love. He's like, could you go your
I,
whole life without feeling love? It's not
I,
the same thing.
I know, but love, and then shortly behind love is, I believe, is knowing ultimate sexual pleasure. And then those two, there's nothing that matches that no matter what you have in life.
No, I think scientifically there are things like we can actually read with nerves like what ultimate sexual pleasure is in the brain. We can't read what love is in the brain.
Yes. But
You are
what
such a sap.
no, I'm not.
Romantic.
I so what's your answer on that?
My answer is food.
Well, and what you would choose one or the other.
So
But so
if
you would,
this was specific to sex, I would
yes.
choose others because I know that I can find satisfaction in other things. If this is saying I'm never satisfied in anything, whew, I don't know. I think I have to pick the latter. But if this is a sex question, that's different because okay, you're talking about like satisfaction in one area of my life, which I can have satisfaction in multiple areas of my life.
Yeah, but I for maybe a different show then, because I'd be curious to see what you thought would be up there, even close, honestly,
To sex,
to
food,
sexual satisfaction. I mean, I've had some great food.
Yeah, food.
Mm,
So I had a conversation with someone about this. I was drinking a red velvet milkshake from this burger joint, by a famous chef whose name's not coming to mind in DC. And he was like, "What are you drinking?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And I described the milkshake, and it's my good friend. And he was like, "It sounds like you're describing an orgasm." And I was like, "I am." And he's like, "I have never thought of food that way." And I was like, "I am so sorry for
I
you."
know. I'm with you on that because I'm a foodie, and
It's a multi-sensory experience
I
the same
get
way
it.
an
Oh,
orgasm is.
yes, but nothing comes close to that experience. And I'm not just talking to some cheap,
Have you
like
done
a
drugs?
good whole nother episode that we're doing too. So
Sorry. I'm just like plenty. Like we have artificial ways.
food is up there. Yes, I agree with you. But food is like 3, and then sex and love with somebody is 1 and 2
Stop
far and away.
comparing love. I'm not talking about love.
But I'm just saying those are the things that are, and those
Okay.
two are different by a lot.
Like the moment my son was born, first sex, going with the moment my son was born.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like I have had more pleasurable moments in life, the things that I can find more pleasure in than sex. So like if I had to give a pleasure up, a sexual pleasure, I could give up. Other pleasure, like other fulfillment and satisfaction, all fulfillment and satisfaction, I don't know.
Maybe this is where we continue this conversation on the new segment of Castle's Coital Corner.
I know. And Brian's a sap. That's what we've learned. He's a romantic sap.
No, but that was more of a. I mean, that's more sexual than sappy love.
Oh no, you like put
thing.
love and sex on the same line. It's very sweet.
Not on the same line, but up there ahead of good food. And I'm all for good
Not
food.
when your sons were born.
But that's love.
Sure. But it's also more meaningful. Yeah, and you already put love above sex. Okay. It's like it's a very special kind of love, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to continue some other time. We're at an hour 20 minutes, which actually I think is pretty good. So
yeah, we're doing pretty good. That was a good question to end on. I think we should also end on this comment. Agreed.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, guys, we will see you next week. We're going to try to do another midweek production show like we do during the day. I don't know what day it'll be, but we will review this episode to see how well it went and then plan for our next performance fun night. Sound right?
Yep. Next, so if you liked this episode, if you didn't like this episode, if you have thoughts, if you have feedback, if you have ideas, if you know what you want to see more from us, if there's a specific question you want us to dive deep on, join next week.
I'm going to go and dream about sex with an alien